It's official. ChatGPT plugins are here for all Plus users. I've been playing around with them all weekend, and I think I can say definitively they are a game changer. This is going to change almost every aspect of digital marketing for local service businesses and any company, but we're going to specifically focus on local service businesses and how these could revolutionize digital marketing and really every aspect of your business. This is the weekly news video for Envision Marketing, and I'm trying a little bit of a different format this time. We're going to have one big story that we'll jump into at the end of the video right after we cover the news, but I'm going to go a little bit lighter on the news this time and just cover the stuff that I think is most interesting to local services businesses like yourself. I'm TJ Robertson, and it is May 22nd. Let's go ahead and dive right into the news. So first of all, a little bit of news. YouTube is experimenting with disabling or disallowing ad blockers. So they're doing some tests where if you're using an ad blocker, you just can't use YouTube. Ad blockers have been a big problem for display advertising, and this is, I think, a legitimate effort to try to clamp that down a little bit. So we'll see if it backfires on YouTube. But right now, the experiment is just some users aren't allowed to use it if they have an ad blocker active and they have to turn it off. So that could be the only way to get rid of these ad blockers. And for advertisers, that's a good thing because it could mean a lot more inventory opening up on YouTube. And if it works for YouTube, I imagine other platforms will probably follow. There's also some data coming in that less searches are showing local packs. So the local pack, of course, is the three businesses at the top right here, usually at the top of Google's search results. And this is where our clients, local service businesses, get most of their leads through Google search. Most people are going to choose one of these three businesses in the local pack when they're looking for a local service. So this not showing as often could be bad. That being said, it's bad for their competitors too. And if you're looking for a window tint company, for example, you're going to find a window tint company. It doesn't matter if the local pack is there or not. So it's really unclear how this is going to shape up. It really is going to depend on where your rankings are. And as with every change with Google, it could just be an experiment. We could be back to normal next week. But right now, some search terms just aren't triggering the local pack that used to trigger it. And for other terms, the local pack is just further down on the page. Now, a little bit of tinfoil hat thinking is this could be Google just preparing for the generative search experience. If you didn't see that in last week's video, that's their new introduction of AI into the search results, and where they will have, for some queries, an AI generated answer at the top, and that can also pull in local businesses. So a lot of this traffic that's going to local packs might be going to that generative search experience, because you can ask questions about, hey, where's a window to place near me that offers ceramic tint? And it's going to take all the information it knows and show you companies that offer that. And that's why it's so important for us to make sure that that kind of information is on our clients' websites. The big question is, are we going to be able to track those clicks and impressions? I think we probably will. Right now, obviously, in Google Search Console, there's nowhere for those generative results to see traffic or impressions, but I imagine they'll probably have to add something. But there might be a period where we really just don't know how much traffic is coming from that. We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. But Google says by the end of the month, we'll be starting to see some of those features in Google Search. So that's really exciting. We might have a really big video coming up on that. Google Business Profile expanding language assistance section. So some businesses already had this, but Google's rolling it out to a larger set of businesses where they can set which languages they speak. And so this is really good for any of our multilingual businesses. They'll be able to set it right in the Google Business Profile. And so we'll be making sure all of our clients can have that set if they speak Spanish or another language. And if you're a business owner yourself, just make sure you're going into your Google Business Profile and checking all the languages you speak. It is showing pretty prominently, it looks like. What else is being shown prominently are services. Google Business Profile services. These used to not matter at all. They were like keyword meta tags. If you know anything about SEO, they were just ignored by Google. But now they're becoming more and more important. Every week we're seeing more news on how prominently they're being shown, and we've already seen data that shows that they're heavily affecting ranking. And so we're already going through all of our clients and making sure that the services are listed under each business category. But you can see here how much better it looks when the service has a description. There's no description on these services, And then the other example she shows, there's a description for the service, and they even added an emoji there, which I thought was really smart. Let's see, we'll see it again here in a second. There's a little heart emoji. So making sure we have good descriptions and emojis is going to be really important for getting a high click-through rate. And there's just more reason that we should really be caring about services all of a sudden. There's also this article that I suggest reading. It's We don't know who the source is, but it's not surprising. Google is introducing AI models into Google Ads and into YouTube Creator Studio. So this is really two different integrations. We already knew that Google was integrating AI into Google Ads to help you write ad copy, which is pretty cool. We'll have to see how it pans out, but it could save us a lot of time and give us some new ideas. Of course, we're not relying on AI at this point, but it could be a nice way to just kind of be more efficient in Google Ads. And then in YouTube, it's giving creators ideas for videos. So that's interesting. Always fun to see how Google is adding AI. In specifically AI news, let's talk about Clarity. This is Microsoft's version of Google Analytics. It goes on websites and helps us track information. The most useful thing of Clarity is the heat maps, something Google Analytics does not provide. You get for free with Microsoft Clarity. You can see exactly where people spend time on your website, and they're trying to get GPT-4 via Copilot into Clarity, which is really cool. So we've already started rolling out some of these features. I believe Session Insights is already there, but you'll be able to just ask Clarity questions, the same way you would ChatGPT about performance on a website, and it can just look into the analytics and talk right back to you. So we'll see your move now, Google. Are you going to introduce something like that into analytics? Because that seems really useful. And instead of having to dig through and create custom reports, to be able to just have a chat interface and just say like, hey, what are the trends we're seeing? What could be the causes? Are we seeing similar trends in the industry? Whatever information we can get from that could be really useful and save us a lot of time. Moving on, Google released this PDF about a week ago, but I just wanted to share it. It really should be in recommended reading, but it's just an overview of the search generative experience. If you're not familiar with the search generative experience, you haven't been following up on the news, it's a really good overview. It's a pretty short PDF as far as Google PDFs go, but it really explains everything you need to know at a top level about the new search generative experience. I'm not going to spend too much time on it here, but really well laid out PDF. There was a study that came out. This is something we kind of already knew, but it was a study about can we reliably detect AI written content? And this is, if you remember, early days of ChatGPT 3.5, everyone was trying to come, there was a tool coming out every minute that would detect if something was AI written. And they worked all right in 3.5, and then they just kind of stopped being reliable. In 4, Sam Altman from OpenAI came out and said, it's not going to work. You're not going to be able to keep up, and there's never going to be a tool that reliably detects if something is AI written. And that's good news and bad news. But what it really means is that AI content's here to stay. It's just getting better. And this idea that content has to be written by humans to be high quality, I think it's already been disproven, and it's going to be obviously disproven very soon. Content's going to be written by AI. Now, that doesn't mean it should be entirely written by AI. The ideas and the editing and the judgment of any quality in the content should be done by humans. And so right now, what we're focused on and what we think all businesses should be focused on is figuring out what do humans do best, what do AIs do best, and then getting really good at those things that humans do best and learning how to use AI for the things that AI do best. With content creation, for I think the foreseeable future, it's going to be a collaboration. It's going to be the humans coming up with ideas, helping generate outlines, collecting information, in our case, from our clients or from whoever the experts are on the topic you're writing on, giving that in a prompt that's well formatted for the AI to create high quality content, and then working with the AI to edit it, and then doing some manual editing. It's a long process still. It still requires research and a lot of hands-on interaction, but we can create much higher quality content in a smaller time frame than we used to. So it's a win for us, and it's really just the new normal. There's no going back to how things were. AI content is here to stay. It's just about using it smart. This is just a cool tool. I'm not showing a lot of this anymore because it's not directly relevant, but this one is a new model. It's not available yet, but I just wanted to show this because this is something we're going to be able to do in a lot of tools coming soon. Anytime a model like this comes out, it just means the technology is pretty close to being into Photoshop or whatever image generation tools, and it allows you to manipulate images using AI. And the examples they're showing is like turning the heads of subjects, including animals, closing the mouths, opening mouths, closing eyes, spreading legs, making someone smile that wasn't smiling. It's really insane how powerful this seems to be. It's called GAN, GAN. So we'll see what that turns into. And I just have one more article here before we jump into our big story about Google trying to recognize AI images. So we just said AI is not going to be able to reliably recognize AI generated text, but Google thinks that it might be able to recognize AI generated images. For all of our sakes, I hope they're right. Misinformation is going to go rampant if we cannot figure out which images are real and which ones are not real. And so we'll just have to see how this pans out. We've started using some AI generated images for stock photography, but I don't think it's ever going to replace actual photography. Getting photos of your business, of the people that work in the business, of them performing the service, of products, if you sell products, is never going to be able to be replaced by AI, at least not in the foreseeable future. It's hard to imagine how AI would generate images of your business or the people in them. So it's still very important getting photo shoots, even just having someone on your staff that can take photos on their phone, regularly getting those photos on Google Business Profile, on social media, on your website is going to become even more valuable than it was already. So those are the big stories for this week. Of course, the biggest one being ChatGPT plugins, which we're going to jump into now. I want to show you, I've been playing around all weekend with these new plugins. I think there's a little over 100 of them now. And I don't think we're too far away from 100,000 of these. And I don't know if that's going to be inside of ChatGPT or if it's inside of Bard or both. But really, I think this is the interface of the future, right? It's not going to be screens. We're not going to have TVs strapped to our heads. We're going to be talking to AI or maybe typing, but it's going to be conversational. Screens, of course, will still have their place, but I think really this is just like the Apple Store coming out, the App Store. It's the new App Store is now the ChatGPT plugin store, and Bard has their own integrations as well. But they add so much functionality to ChatGPT, and really it just makes sense for every company to have their own plugin, a way to interact with it. So I think this is the tip of the iceberg. I think looking back on this, it's going to be embarrassing how excited we are about it, but it's already changing so much for us here at Envision, I think for local businesses as well. So I have about 15, and we're going to shoot through real quick that I've been testing because I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm really excited to show you kind of what I've seen already and what might be able to help. So the first one I have is a tool called Scraper. It's really nice at scraping the web. It does a better job, I think, than the web browsing plugin that's built into ChatGPT. And right here, you can see I gave it our homepage and I said, can you just give me all the URLs that are linked from the homepage? Now, you can do this with a lot of different tools, but it's a lot easier to do it this way. I then try to get it to generate meta titles and meta descriptions for each page, and it can do that, but it can only crawl one page at a time. So come in the Access Link plugin. I found that I can actually give it a list of, I think I gave it about 18 pages here. Or I can't remember how many it was. And yeah, it just used the access links to crawl every page and then created, I think using ChatGPT, a title and description for each page. It was pretty quick, took a couple minutes, but did it all on its own, and the result is pretty good. Now, we wouldn't just take these and blindly paste them into the website. We'd want to review them, but looking through them, they're pretty good. We would want to get some local terms in there because we're a local business, and we'd make some other alterations, but really those could all be built into the prompt. So I think this prompt could be a little bit better. I'll share this with everyone, but I would also add just some general information about the business and the kinds of search terms that they're looking to show up for, a little bit of information about their ideal customer, and I think you could get some really nice first drafts meta tags using that. The next one is this SEO Core AI. This one I'm not too sure about yet, but it does at least show the potential of these plugins. So I just gave it our homepage, envision.com. I said, come up with a list of keywords. And it came up with 19 relevant keywords. Now, these aren't the keywords we would track. We're a local business. And so we're not trying to rank for branding, for example. Never going to rank for that or really any of these terms. We're looking to rank for local terms, really, more specific. But it was cool that it could crawl our website and figure out what's relevant to us just based on the homepage. And then I asked it to run an SEO audit on the homepage. And it did a pretty good job. It pointed out the good and had some critiques as well. It said to add a call to action to our meta description, which was a good call. But overall, it says the current H1 tag is home. That's not good. And it gave a good H1 tag. Not I would get some more search terms in there. It really just good advice. It even checks the load speed and the sitemap in robots.txt. So we have a much more in-depth audit process. I don't know if we'll be able to work this in, but if you just want to get like a quick audit on something, this is pretty good. This, I think, gets 80% of it within a matter of a couple minutes. I then said, hey, could you generate a list of all the URLs in the main navigation bar? And it's like, no, I can't do that. So for that one, I think you'd probably want to use Scraper. And then I gave it those keywords. I said, can you generate a table showing keyword volume, competition, and current ranking of Envision? And it did that. So I don't know what else it can generate. I just really only had time to play around a little bit with each of these plugins. But as you can see, we're not ranking for these because they're big national keywords that we're not going after. As you can see, the competition's high on all of them. But at first glance, it looks like it's accurate, and I'm excited to play around with it more and see if maybe this would replace some of the things we're using Ahrefs for or other tools like that. Moving on, this was a prompt generator plugin. So you ask it to make a prompt for you, and then it makes a prompt for you. So this could be useful if you are struggling to figure out how to structure a prompt. Now, the downside here is you still need to give it all the information it would need to make a good prompt. And once you've provided all that information, you've pretty much already made a really good prompt in my experience. But I just wanted to play around with it. So I said, give me a prompt for creating a content brief about an article about car paint correction services, something that a lot of our clients do. And it gave a pretty nice prompt. Now it just had to guess on all the things that would be important to us because I didn't provide any of that. But I went ahead and I took this prompt and I put it into this other plugin, Brainwork, that creates content briefs, and it worked. Now I have to say I wasn't too impressed with Brainwork. I would not use this for content briefs. It would be great 10 years ago, but it's paying attention to things that aren't that important right now. So for example, it gives a specific word count. We don't like to stick to word counts. It should just be however many words it takes to cover the topic. It talks about keyword density, which is not something we're paying attention to either. We only pay attention to keywords really in headings and titles. I thought this was really funny. It gave an SEO score. It said aim for an SEO score of 51 or higher. I don't know why you wouldn't want just 100 SEOs. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what I would do with this. And then it provided the outline that we gave in the prompt. So anyways, it shows some potential, and I think a content brief plugin probably will come eventually that's useful, but I would not use Brainwork. Moving on to chat with video, this is a plugin that allows you to interact with videos, specifically the transcripts and the comments. The bad news is it doesn't seem to work very well. Do not recommend this plugin. I first gave it this video from Marie Haynes, and it gave me some actionable tips and insights, just like I asked. And these seem to be related to the video. But then when I said, can you provide the entire transcript of the video, it said, sure. And it gave me a 1.5 minute video about the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And this is like an 1.5 hour video about SEO. So it just made up a transcript. Now, the alternative to chat with video seems to be, we'll find it. We'll just keep going because I'm not seeing it right now. But there's another plugin about that lets you do the same thing. I think it's coming up in my tabs. Let's talk about Ask Your PDF. So this, I talked about a tool that does something similar a few weeks back. It was like PDF GPT, but it had to use 3.5, or you had to use an API key from 4. This does it right inside ChatGPT, and it seems to do a really good job. I provided it with a PDF on divorce. It was like a 20-page PDF, and I said just write a 1,000-word blog post, and it did. It wrote a pretty good blog post. Now it's dry and it doesn't have headings or anything, but I didn't ask for any of that, and it mimics the tone and feel of the PDF. So I imagine because it's using GPT-4, I could provide it our SEO writing guide. I could ask for specific headings, and it's doing a really good job of just taking the information from the PDF and putting it in here. So this is a game changer for any business that has content in PDFs. There's actually a handful of plugins that can read PDFs now. This is just the one I tried, but also plugins that can read web pages. And so one limitation with GPT right now is that you can only give it a certain amount of content. I can't remember, it's like 8,000 words or something between your prompt and the response. And you give it too much, it's like, sorry, that was too long. But now, if you wanted to, you could just paste anything you want onto a web page somewhere. I haven't tried it yet, but maybe a Google Doc, and then just give this plugin one of the plugins, not Astro PDF. This only does PDFs, but there's plenty of other plugins that will review any web page. You give it that URL, and now you can query it based on the information, which is something that Google's trying to do with Bard as well. But it's already available to us, and that's just like, it's going to make content repurposing so much easier. And this is the kind of content that's really going to rank well going forward in the future. Anything that's generic or could already be produced by AI on its own is going to be near worthless in the very near future, because you could just get that from any AI. What's going to be valuable is content that comes from experience, from personal experience. So if you already have that, you can now load it into the AI and create more content based on that personal experience, or the same content in different forms. Very excited about this. It's just a complete game changer right there. There's two plugins right now that let you find AI tools. And this is really exciting for me because I'm constantly trying to find new AI tools to do different things. And if you're wondering if there's an AI tool to do something, there probably is. However, AI Tool Hunt is probably not going to find it. I did two things. I said create, I wanted something that'll take YouTube videos and create short form videos from them. And it gave me a few that can do that, but it didn't give me the ones that I know are the best right now. And it gave me some that don't do that. And then I asked for one that creates web pages or wireframes, because that's something I'm working on right now, and none of these can do this. I couldn't find one. On the other hand, there's an AI for that. Highly recommend this plugin. It found Video, which I know is one of the top apps for creating short form out of YouTube videos, and I found a bunch of other good ones. And then when I asked about wireframes, I found Visibly, never heard of that before. It's exactly what I was looking for. And the other ones seem at least to be closer to what I was looking for than the other one could provide. So there's an AI for that. Definitely seems like a great resource for finding other AI tools. SpeechKey, this one was really cool. I don't think I can play the audio through my computer right here, but I will share the link in the description. You can just give it any content. I don't know what the maximum length is now, but I know they're asking for donations, so it seems like it's completely free at the moment. And it'll create an audio file that's speaking that text. Now, I didn't play around with different voices or anything, but the one it gave me sounded really good. Sounded super natural, just like anything I've heard, and it was super quick to make. Probably took less than a minute. Definitely recommend SpeechKey. Here we are, chat with video. Nope, this is the one. I already shared this one. I had it on here twice. That's what happened. Okay, finally, the suspense. I definitely did this on purpose. Don't use chat with video. Use Video Insights. There it is. So this one, the one downside is it can't take videos over an hour. And that is a pretty big limitation because those are the videos that you don't want to watch. You just want to ask the plugin, tell me what's important here. Now you could take the transcript of a longer video and put it somewhere and then query it using another plugin. But if it's under an hour, Video Insights seems to do a really good job. So I gave it this video, Glenn Gabe, on fixing sites hit by Google Core updates. It was an interview with Barry Schwartz and Glenn Gabe, and it gave me a really good breakdown of the video. And then from there, I'm sure I could query it for actionable tips and insights. But just really impressed that it was able to do it very quickly. This could be a game changer in a couple different ways. If you're trying to digest information, you can just and you don't have time, hey, here's a 45-minute video. I don't want to watch this whole thing, but I want to know what they're recommending because they always push those, they hide them towards the end of the video and you don't want to like sift through it. Just ask the plugin and it'll tell you what you need to know. And then if you have your own content, you can put it in here and create blog posts from it, create social media posts from it, Twitter threads, anything. It's just that's the one thing that I think is going to be the biggest game changer right now. Is just repurposing content is going to become really easy. And now eventually this stuff will probably just be built into Facebook and Google's products, and we won't need to come to ChatGPT. It'll just be done automatically. YouTube will be like, hey, we made 20 new shorts for you. Do you want to review them before we publish them? But for now, you can really get ahead of the curve by creating stuff quickly. I really like this competitor PPC ads. You can give it the URL of one of your competitors, and it'll predict what the best performing ad is. I don't know what it's doing, but it did find one of these ads pretty quickly. This could be a easier way to do competitive research on competitors' PPC ads and get ideas for new ad copy when you're trying to refresh ad copy. So very excited about that one. Visla, this one, I don't know how useful it'll be yet, but it's a sign of things to come. This one will create a video for you from a text prompt. So you ask for a video about anything, and it'll create an outline. It'll find stock footage that goes with each line of the outline. It'll add the text on the video. It'll add a audio file on top of it. Now it's all using stock footage and stock audio, so I think you then have to pay for it to remove the watermarks from each of those. But it was pretty impressive. Let me show you the video it came up with. I don't think you'll be able to hear it. Actually, I'll just mute this so it's not echoing in my microphone, but came up with some music. I don't know if I would have kept the music. So really, my point here is not that Visla is the tool to use. It's the one plugin you can right now in ChatGPT, but this is probably going to become a common feature in multiple platforms in the coming months, where we can just create probably higher quality videos than this using stock footage. Eventually, probably AI generated video, but we're a long way from good looking AI generated video. With text, there's no reason why this couldn't be spoken. We already have tools that can very easily take text and create a voiceover. But I think with some more creative prompts and with some better technology, we could be seeing some very high quality videos coming out where the creator spent an hour or less making. And this is something that Google and other companies have been trying to do for years, and they've just been terrible. This is, I think, a sign of things to come. The last one I'll show you is this plugin called Photorealistic. It comes up with a Midjourney prompt for you. We've been using Midjourney a lot to come up with stock images or unique images, especially for like these YouTube videos. And I gave it to draft me a Midjourney prompt for an image of someone installing window film on a car that I can use on my window tint company's website. It gave me a long prompt, and I'll show you the image in a second. Weird enough, it said with a 16:9 aspect ratio. If anyone knows Midjourney, that doesn't give you a 16:9 aspect ratio. There's actually, you have to type --AR 16:9 to get that. By pasting in as is, and I got this. Now they are photorealistic, but as you stare, I think you'll start to notice that like this guy's coming out of the windshield, and there's some weird things going on in some of the other images. I think this guy's cloths are inside the car, so that's unfortunate for him. And this guy's hand is not supposed to be like that. And then I did it with the actual AR 16:9 ratio. I'll move myself out of the way a little bit here. And I'll say the images are photorealistic. So that's what it's supposed to be doing, is creating photorealistic images. I don't know if we could use any of these as they are. They're all just a little off, but maybe if we re-rolled it a few times, we could get some that work. But other than like these little quirks that show that they're not real images, they look great. Really great looking images. So I think we're very close. I don't know if photorealistic is the way to get these kind of images, but very exciting to see how easy it is to get these beautiful looking images. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something that'll help you with your business or with your clients, depending on who you are. And we have a new video every week. I'll be out of town next week, so we might skip a week, but please subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.